room. Now, you have 50 days exactly until October the 1st, or we have 50 days exactly till October the 1st. And if you work in the healthcare sector, that is a really important number of days. And after that, every manual workflow is like risk. There is risk attached to the delivery of that. Every assurance and really engaging your people, that 50-day October the 1st date is so important, because it means winter mode hits, demand rises, capacity drops, and the manual workarounds your team lives, like most teams, start being really inefficient, and they become a risk to the delivery, the assurance, and your people. So this week in the breathing room, we're going to be talking about what to do right now in the summer to make sure those gaps aren't exposed in the winter season. My name is Laura Chattington. I partner with organizations to embed AI work streams into the operations and business so that you can save time, add more value, and fully leverage AI to scale, and seeing the return on that. And I'm here with Tara Lee, who has over 20 years experience across health, social care, and the third sector, with a background in commissioning of over £500 million and a focus on driving transformational programs that deliver tangible returns. Hello, Tara.
Hello.
I always think that sounds amazing. So today we're going to be talking about the fact, I know that everybody, and it doesn't matter where you are in the UK, we are having a drought. And that drought means that it's summer, it's sunny, the sky is blue, we're kind of chilling, and we're working and we're chilling. But actually, for people working in the healthcare sector, this isn't a time to crack out the margaritas every day, is it, Charlie?
Well, no. So if we're all out there enjoying the sun, we're sunning ourselves in the sun, please don't let that lull us into a false sense of security. So it's the UK weather's going to change. We're going to move into that winter space. And when we work in health and social care, we know that what comes with that, and it comes at various times in terms of when the weather changes in the UK. But 1st of October is quite a pivotal time for us. It's when as we said, the demand increases potentially. We might start seeing some of those bugs that start to come and play through for winter. So we get much busier in terms of our work. We're preparing for Christmas and Christmas cover arrangements. We have greater assurance, and oversight requirements generally come as a result of some of these things. And what that can mean is, if we haven't got the front foot in over this sort of a period of a time, it can then lead to that sort of bottleneck. It can feel like we've got huge demand on our resourcing. Where we've been using and looking at manual tasks, that then can become a real crunch point for a lot of the organizations that we work with.
And actually, we were having a sorry to interrupt. No. We were having a conversation before we were getting on about the fact that I always say you can't fix everything all at the same time. So you have to pick the work streams in the organization that are really focused, have lots of people time in it, are a high risk. There are legal implications, there are patient all of those things. And the reason that most organizations have sort of processes in their organization that there is risk attached, because there are files all over the place, or there are processes aren't followed properly or checked or quality assured and things like that.
We have statutory deadlines to respond to certain things, so some of these things are timeline dependent, and we do have some obligations where we do have to respond to them within set periods of time.
And the AI does the purpose of putting AI in is that it gives teams an opportunity to make sure those workflows are working properly and meeting the deadlines. So it's not AI for AI's sake. It's that there are processes that have like deadlines to meet, that you have, by plugging in AI, you can make that much faster and more efficient. But actually, it's the workflow and the process that the organization needs like resolving, rather than just adding the AI. And to give people an example, can you give us a couple of examples, Taralee, in the types of processes where this kind of is really useful, but also really needs sorting out, kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we've talked in the breathing room episodes before about things like reporting, board reports, committees, data triangulation and analysis. AI can add huge amounts of value into some of these spaces. We have within the types of organizations that we work in, we respond to things like subject access requests. We respond to freedom of information requests. We have reporting that we have, and assurance requirements through to our external reporting bodies. So whether that be our commissioners, our regulators, as an example, quite often a lot of that is document heavy. It's triangulation heavy in terms of needing to pull from multiple information sources, and it's analysis heavy, because we need to make sure that our bits of the data form a coherent puzzle and meld together. So there's a whole range of different workflows that organizations can have a bit of a think about, where it may be possible to apply AI in certain elements of that. Now, what we're not saying in this space is apply AI to the whole thing and have AI run the entirety of a process for you.
No,
that's absolutely not what we advocate for in the breathing room. But what we are saying is that at different points within those processes and those workflows, there may be opportunities to really just tap that AI in, to that specific piece.
Yeah.
Maintaining the human oversight, maintaining the human rigor and critical analysis, but giving back that time and giving people more opportunity to think about how they might apply AI in their practice. So it's about thinking about those things now. Let's not get to 1st of October crunch time. 50 days, folks, 50 days. I couldn't believe it when we were working that through before. But let's not let us get to winter pressure mode, moving into that space and not having thought about where are the opportunities here and now to build AI into some of those workflows that are manual, data, repetitive, and where we might be able to automate some of that.
Yeah, and I think it's like the kind of I always like to think about what are the key actions to take away, is that number one is like, I would be like, where in the biz organization is the most time consumed by your team, and or the most risk and legal risk associated. So if you have like deadlines that you have to meet, there is going to be risk around that. If your team are spending days putting board reports together, then that's where you get the value back. So actually thinking, this is just our gentle nudge, I think, to say it's only 50 days. Although the weather is really good, let's buy ourselves some calm in October by actually plugging some of this in now and looking at some of these work streams that are highly valuable to you because you spend lots of time in them, or there's lots of risk associated with them, and start integrating, not only updating the process or the workflow, but also plugging in the AI to give you all those benefits too, right? That's kind of our summer message.
It is.
Is really chirpy. So that's great, Taralee, and I know you've got to get off, but I think next week, if you're interested in sort of how do you do this, how do you think about workflows, processes, and plugging in AI, if you're interested in, then get the live next week, because we're actually going to be demonstrating and showing a workflow that we decided is useful to see, and how you think about plugging in AI, and therefore what is the return and why is it worth doing. So we're going to give you an example next week. We just wanted to give you a nudge today because of this. It's 35 degrees in London. I don't know what it is up north for you, Tara.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And we will see you next week.